All right, let's go. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're all doing wonderful this morning, this Monday morning, and I hope as well that you had a fantastic weekend. I know that I did. Thank you very much for asking. So today's an exciting day. Why? Because we are going to finish this painting today. So that's always kind of nice. And tomorrow, starting a new painting, that is really awesome. So, like usual, let's start off our day by going over to the computer and let's check out what we did last Friday, and we'll take our day from there. So last Friday, what did we do? It seems so long ago. Well, we added some shading to our leaves. We added the colors to our heart. We had to put down 2 coats of that. 2 coats for the ring as well, which is out of gold. And then we had to paint our little sperms. Bonjour, Jaman. And then we did the outline to our little devils, the outline to our leaves, and that brought us to where we are today. So, what are we going to do today? Well, today the first thing I'm going to do is going to add some shading to my little sperms. After that, we are going to do the black outline to the heart. Then we are going to do the black outline to the centerpiece, black outline to the canvas. Hopefully by then, the sperms will be nice and dry and I'll be able to put the outlines to that, put my signature down. That's worth millions, of course, and then we'll be done for the day. So let's not waste any time. I am a little nervous because when it's doing the black outlines, you have to be kind of precise. You have to be right on the money. So, and since I haven't warmed up in 2 days, I'm always a little nervous. But first of all, let's get to some ochre yellow or beige, whatever you want to call it, which is right here. And we are going to tackle our sperms right away. So that should just take a few seconds. Oops, let me get another palette where I can see the color better. There we go. So, there we go. I got that together. I am going to have to pick the right brush. Oops, there we go. And I assume this one is going to do the trick. Very good. So, let's just work this little beige and bring it to be a comfortable consistency so it just glides on the canvas the way it should. Add a little bit more water. I don't have to make this too thick because since it has a light yellow background, it shouldn't need 2 coats and it should cover that very easily, very nicely as well, and stay opaque. So I think I have the right texture. I mean, after all, we just have very little surface to do. So what am I going to do? I'm going to bring my chair over. I'm going to switch cameras as well and bring it a little closer so that with camera number 1, we can see exactly what I'm doing. So I'll bring that closer and I'll move it off to the side, even though it will do a little bit of distortion, but at least I won't be in front of the lens. And that's the main thing. So a little more, how about that? So let's tackle these guys right away. So there we go. Very good. I know as well as it dries, it will darken as well, like most colors do. There we go. And I don't have to be too precise on the outside of these sperms because the black outline will catch every little screw up I might make. So, but that is no reason to be sloppy. So I am going to be careful and as precise as possible as we do these little sperms. There we go. Let me just grab that right there. Perfect. Okay. So that part is done. I'll bring the camera back a little bit. And next is going to be the outline to our heart and satellite ring. There we go. And for that, I am just going to grab, but let me check out the computer, make sure my brain waves and the computer are on the same wavelength. Very good. Let me just find a palette. Here's one. I think black will show up nicely on that background. Already got black paint all over my hands and haven't even taken it out of the jar yet. All right. So where's my little knife? Here it is. And I'm getting to the bottom of this jar, which is no big deal. I have plenty in the back room. But I'm going to put a lot there because we are going to do all the edges as well in black. So I might as well make a nice hefty quantity. And I'm wondering if I shouldn't have grabbed a bigger palette for that. Maybe I will switch right away now that I think about the quantity of black that I'm going to need. And all my larger little palettes are in the back room, so I'll just walk over here and grab what I need. What I call a larger palette is nothing more than a paper plate, or I should even say plastic plate. Very good. Since acrylics don't stick to non-porous surfaces, having a plastic plate is very handy because the old paint just kind of peels off, and I find myself very quickly with a very nice new palette. Come on, baby. There we go. There. Very good. So let's get back to our black paint. And I'm not even, well, maybe I am going to use my knife a little bit, scrape the edges here, since we are at the end of our jar of paint. I think maybe for the rest I will just use a spoon. That will be much more handy. There we go. And for this, I am going to use a much larger paintbrush to get the right texture of this paint, the right consistency. And I most likely will be using, well, maybe not. Maybe I'll be using this brush to do the larger part. So I'll use this brush to get the right texture of our black here. Okay, so I am like a little bit disoriented. I can tell I'm not warmed up yet. You can tell it's Monday morning. So first of all, let's start off by cleaning our knives. Keep the tools clean, number one. There we go. So, there we go. The knife is clean. Now let's take care of the spoon. Nothing like doing the dishes. There we go. Make sure this is nice and clean as well. There. Okay. So now that we've done the dishes, let's get back to getting the paint in the right consistency. And I'm just going to pour a little bit of water in here. It'll go a lot quicker rather than me dipping my brush in the paint every 2 seconds. And let's just mix all this together. This is going to be so important to get the right texture, right consistency of this paint, so it glides on like ink, yet remain nice and opaque. So I just gotta, and since it is the bottom of the jar, the paint is a little stiff, though. Reason for taking the time to mix all this up. I'm still not going to have enough paint. I can see that. I'm going to have to go in the back room and get another jar of black paint. But to start off, this will be fine as long as I get the right consistency of this paint. I want it to be nice and creamy. Just about there. So when I see what I have to do to finish this painting, it looks like I could be done in 5 minutes, but I know it's going to take a lot longer than that, because right when you're finished, that's when you go back and you kind of just fix all the little screw-ups in that elusive quest for perfection, if such a thing exists. So it always takes a little longer. So I'm not going to be too hasty in what I'm doing. So what do we have here? Nice creamy black paint. Is this going to do it, or is this a little too thick? I think there's only one way to try. It's to try it and do it, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. The only way to know is to try it and do it. Okay. So now, this is crucial as well, picking the right paintbrush for the job. Picking the right paintbrush for the job. I guess it's going to be one of these two, or maybe one of these three guys. I'm going to start off with this medium brush. Here I have the 3 brushes right there, 3 sizes. These two are almost the same. This one is a little bit smaller. This one's a little bit smaller. And these, if I wet them, you can see that this one is a little bit thicker than the middle one. I'm going to start off with this middle one first, and if it doesn't work, I will switch to either the smaller or the bigger one. We'll see. So I'm just going to set those aside so I can find them easily. And let's grab my little palette here. So I'm going to have to work my way upper left-hand corner down like this so I don't get my hand in the paint since I'm right-handed. So I always have to kind of bounce back and forth just to make things a little bit easier. So that said, I am going to zoom in camera number 1 on that heart. And we can tackle this. And I'm going to keep my fingers crossed, hoping that everything is going to come out the way it should. So let's go for it. Okay, so this paintbrush seems to be perfect. It's a little thin, but I'd rather go twice and make sure rather than have a too fat, one that's too fat. There we go. There we go. Very good. Did I already put my hands in the paint? I think I did. No big deal. Just going to grab a little bit of saliva and clean that off like that. So even being careful, I still put my hands in the paint. It's so annoying, and that's the way it goes. So let's continue. There we go, very nice. So far, everything is going as planned. Let me just get back over here. So, looks like there's the reflection of the window on the paint, but there's not much I can do about that. I'll try to see if I can't center it a little bit better like that. Hopefully that will help. All right. There we go. I'm just going to thicken the line a little bit right here. Just like that. All right. Okay, very good. Looking good. Usually I have to go back and kind of fix a few things, but it looks like I lucked out on this one. Just catch this little part right here. There we go. Oh, fuck me, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Just what I didn't want to do. Now you know why I put the video not for children, right? Because somehow this artist loves to cuss. Okay, so let's fix this screw up. There we go. Okay, jeez. I'm trying to fix one screw up and create a worse one. So that is going all right. My beige paint is just about dry right here, so I can probably do these sperms right now. I thought I would have to wait for the end of the whole painting, but I think I can do it right away, so I'm going to do that. Just going to grab my chair and we're going to tackle these guys right away. Just like that. All right, very good. I'm going to zoom in on this middle sperm like that, so when I edit my movie, I will have another, what is it called? Another scene I can cut to. Very nice. And I'll just get to this third one. Let me just center the camera for a second. There we go. All right. Very good. So, got that done. Now I have to tackle this ring. I'm going to bring this over here. I'll get camera number 1 all ready for that. And again, the crucial thing here is to find the right paintbrush. So, I'm looking over at these guys here. And I'm looking at these guys here. Now, this jar here is softer hairs. These are a little harder hairs. And I think for what I'm going to want to do, I'm going to want the softer hairs. So, which paintbrush to use? So what is this going to be like? I think this is going to be just right. I'm probably going to have to do 2 passes or just several to make sure I have everything the same width. So let me just add a little bit more water to this, work it, make sure it's nice and creamy. Okay, so this is good. I want it to be nice and opaque, and I don't want it to be too liquid because for sure I don't want it dripping all over this friggin' painting. That would be a nightmare. I don't think I have enough saliva to clean my mess up. So I'm just going to step back for a second, take a look at this canvas, have a swig of water. Okay, very good. So, all right. I'm always nervous about this part as well, but let's go for it. Back to camera number 1. And actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play some music of my friends Diego on the violin, Jacek on the guitar, and Lucia on the drums. Like that, there'll be music in the background. I won't have to talk, and I'll be able to concentrate on my circle. So that seems like a pretty good compromise. So that said, let's go back to camera number 1 and start the music. So I was concentrating on the inner circle. Now I can concentrate on the outer thickness of the line. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, not too bad, not too bad. Okay, that doesn't look bad at all, except for right here. go. I know I'm being picky, but I can't help it. So this seems to be worked out okay. I'm going to stop the music for a second and come back here. So far I am in luck. Everything seems to be going pretty good. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to just put another black edge on the outskirts of this frame or painting, whatever, paint a frame. Usually I decorate my frames a lot, but on this painting I really wanted something extremely minimalist. So I am not going to paint anything. I'm not going to put mini sperms here or little stars like I usually do. Honestly, I wanted just to do it like this. Just like with these, what I consider and call electromagnetic waves. I don't know if you can see them. I'll switch cameras just so you can take a look. See all these little rings right here that I painted dark purple on top of this with the shading in the background. I kind of did that on purpose. It's very discreet, but when you're standing in front of the camera, you can see it very clearly. On the camera, it's a little more discreet, of course, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Now, I want my outer frame to be at just about the same thickness as this, and I'm hesitating if I should stick with the same paintbrush or if I should take this other one that's a little wider. I don't know. All I do know, though, is I'm going to have to add a little bit of water to this paint. I don't need it to be as thick. So it's a good way for me to use this brush. It's a kind of a brand new brush, but it's one of those cheap house painting job brushes where you get 3 in a pack. 3 cheap brushes. But I kind of like to use those brushes for certain things. So I'm going to try with this brush. Hopefully it'll work out okay. So let me just come back to camera number 1 here, because like before, just to make sure I don't put my hands in the paint, I'm going to start on the upper left-hand corner, and I'm just going to work my way around to the lower right-hand corner so I don't screw up too much. As you know, I probably will still screw up, but at least I would have given it a try not to. So let me start with the camera right there. Okay, I see no reason to procrastinate. Let's go and tackle camera number 1. And let's go in this upper left-hand corner and start with this frame right here. See, that's why I'm using this paintbrush. I was hoping it would work just the way it is. All I'd have to do is just draw one line. I forgot my painting glasses as well at home. So fortunately, I had this other pair here. I'm not used to using this to paint with. So let me just bring this a little bit wider right there. Yeah, I should bring the camera over as well. So concentrated that I forgot what I was doing. I like starting with the hardest part first. This is leftover from when I used to do carpentry. Always tackle the hardest job first. to give you plenty of time for the unexpected problems that might arise, the rest of the day would go a lot smoother if everything goes well in the mornings. There we go. Okay, I'm going to come back to the beginning, right over here. I'll pull the camera back a little bit. I'm going to make it just a little bit wider right here as well. Yeah, I have the reflection from the window on this paint as well, which definitely does not help. And all I have is just a few more inches to do, like right there. Perfect. Okay. I'll move the camera over again, just to make sure I'm not in the way. And let's tackle this vertical edge. Since the painting is stapled to the wall, it has a tendency to curl a little bit on the edges, which doesn't help, but it's no big deal either, as long as the inner line is nice and straight. So is the camera following? No, it's not. So let me just bring it down a little bit and pull it back like that. I don't have to worry about it. There we go. I'm just going to get this inner edge done in one straight line like that. There we go. There we go, and I do have to step back for a second, take a look. Yes, it is a little narrower up here, which is no big deal. Ah, la 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 la. Now I'm hitting the staples, no big deal. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to tackle that right-hand side. Let me move this over here, just like that. I'll zoom in a little bit on that right-hand side. Okay, very good. I'll put the music back on for a few seconds. Okay, there we go. Very good. Oops, I forgot to move the camera again. Fortunately, I'm on the double camera, so that helped a little bit. Fix my screw up and not following. And I'm going to bring my chair over. A little more water here. Paint is awfully thick, but it doesn't matter. It has all night to dry. All right. Very cool, very cool. Thank you for the music, gentlemen. I appreciate it so much. Now I don't have to get harassed by YouTube for copyright reasons, thanks to your music. So, I just have one last thing I got to do to this heart, and it's add a little bit of golden yellow, and then just put down my signature somewheres. And I'm not sure where to do that. I'd like it be kind of discreet. So maybe I'll put it just down here somewheres in black paint. Doesn't have to stick out. So, stay concentrated here. Let's grab a little palette. And tomorrow is going to be exciting as well, because tomorrow we'll be sizing up another canvas, probably the same size as this, my favorite, which is 1.70 m by 1.20 m, or 66 inches by 60 60 inches, something like that. Can't quite remember. 47 inches. Good thing I wrote it down. 47 inches by 66. And I should recalculate that because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty, well, I think so. So I'm going to grab a good amount of this yellow because I'm going to put it on very thickly. Is that English? Put it on thickly? I don't know. Doesn't sound right. Put it on nice and thick. Maybe thick like a brick. A la Jethro Tull. Okay. Probably nobody even knows who Jethro Tull is. I don't think there are that many people my age watching these streams. Who knows? What would I do if it wasn't for the younger generation, man? So I'm going to just put a little bit of water. I'm going to put this on nice and thick to do my two little special effects here. Again, it's going to have all night to dry, so it doesn't matter. So let me get camera number 1 ready, and I'll zoom that in. Maybe just a little more, why not? Maybe I'll move it again out of the way, even though it does tend to distort the whole thing, but okay, so let's do this last little touch here. Just like that. Beautiful. There we go. There we go. So I'll just put the yellow back in its jar here. Waste not, want not. The prices materials are. Can't afford even to waste a drop of this golden yellow. So basically this painting is finished. Let me just step back, take another look at it. Yeah, very minimal. Yeah, I don't mind it at all. So I'm just not sure. I'm definitely not going to put my signature here. That would be way too obvious. And I'm just worried that if I start signing it here, I'm going to put my hands in that goddamn paint again, the way I usually do it. The ideal would be to wait like a good 45 minutes when everything is nice and dry. I did mention like it was really on thick, so maybe I'll do that. I don't have to sign my painting in front of the world. I can do that just later. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to put this camera back here so we can have another perspective of this painting. There, that looks pretty cool. How's that going to look? So, There's the painting as seen from camera number 1. Right, very symbolic, very minimalistic. Here's the same view from camera number 2. This is a painting that reminds me of the days like 20 years ago when I used to do posters and glue them in the streets. They were basically, at one point, just like this painting right here. Not the same colors, obviously, but the same idea. So, very cool. And back to camera number 1, one last look. After all, we're going to put this away and we won't see it again. We'll see it, I guess, tomorrow morning just before we roll it up. But there we go. 1 hour and we got the painting done. It's the end of our stream. So, very cool. There. So, once again, thank you for joining me on this special day. Finishing a painting is always a special day. Tomorrow we will roll this up, unroll a new canvas, prime it, and then we're going to have to wait till day after tomorrow to actually decide what we're going to paint, and then put on our first coat of background color. And probably the day after that, the second coat. The first week of a new painting, well, just takes a little bit of time because you have to wait for the paint to dry. So like usual, I'm going to leave you with my schedule. I'm going to thank you again and say, ciao mes amis.